It's all bubbling over, y'all. It's all bubbling over between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. We're about to see what many of us have wanted to see for a long time. They're about to start viciously going at it in public. In fact, it's already started. So, I want to start with this clip here. This is posted by Aaron Rupar. He was watching Fox News, and he says, Hannity bizarrely gets Ted Cruz to admit that transporting migrants across state lines is illegal and would result in his arrest for human trafficking if he did it. Okay, so why is Hannity going with this line of questioning, especially at a time when Ron DeSantis was getting a lot of headlines for triggering the libs by sending migrants to Martha's Vineyard? He also sent them to Kamala Harris's house. There were plans to send them to Joe Biden's house in Delaware, but I think at the last minute, they axed those plans, maybe because they might face some legal ramifications for what they already did with sending these migrants deeper in the country. Normally, Hannity would be out there saying, this is based, this is hilarious, he triggered the libs. But he's not saying that. Why? Because Hannity is one of Trump's top allies. And Trump doesn't like that DeSantis is getting all of this positive press in the right-wing base. He's stealing Trump's thunder, DeSantis is. So let's listen to this questioning, and then I'll show you some more evidence that it's about to get real.
You know, let's talk about the law. You're a lawyer, Senator. You've argued before the Supreme Court successfully. And from a legal standpoint, let's say I went down to the border and I brought a big truck with me and I picked up a bunch of illegal immigrants and I started transporting them across the country. Would I or would I not likely be arrested for human trafficking? And would it be illegal to do that for me if I did that?
For you, a citizen, you could easily be arrested, although, to be honest, Joe Biden's Justice Department wouldn't arrest you. But in an ordinary Justice Department,
I'm a conservative. I disagree. They'd arrest me. They'd arrest me. If I was a liberal, I'd get away with it.
True.
Yeah. But back to the law. The law is clear.
It is clear, and right now, the biggest human trafficker on the face of the planet is Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
So Cruz is trying to play both sides there a little bit. He's trying to divert it back to, hey, Sean, aren't Democrats really bad? Me. I'm Ted Cruz. Me. Isn't like Joe Biden the worst, bro? Me. He's trying to divert it back to that, but Cruz knows what Hannity's doing there. Hannity's trying to be like, hey, this is illegal. So Hannity is siding with Trump in the feud. Ted Cruz, I think he leans pro-Trump because he still thinks it's Trump's party, but he's not as comfortable going as all in as Hannity is in his alliance with Trump over DeSantis. Because Cruz he's one of these guys. I'm going to go where the power is. So he's looking for where the power is, trying to feel it out, get the vibes, and then react accordingly to stay relevant. Because all he cares about is staying relevant in those right-wing circles and eventually becoming president. So this is just one example. I got more for you. So this is Jared Kushner criticizing what DeSantis did. This, again, is not something you would expect if they were united on the right. They are indeed not united.
We have to remember these are human beings, they're people, so seeing them being used as political pawns one way or the other is very troubling to me. So they're starting with the criticisms. They're gently getting into it here, doing a little testing, seeing how the base reacts. But there are some stories now that it's gotten more aggressive than this. So here in Yahoo News, Trump has called several GOP donors who contributed money to Ron DeSantis, asking them to stop boosting the Florida governor. So Trump, in many ways, sees the writing on the wall. He knows DeSantis is a much less toxic version of himself. He knows he has the political potential to snatch this nomination from him in 2024. He doesn't like that. He's threatened by it. So now, he's trying to pull some strings behind the scenes and say, hey, you're with me, right? You're not with this dude, right? Stop donating to this dude. Because Trump, the one thing he has that no other Republican has, no other politician has, is a massive bully pulpit. And I'm sure these donors don't want Trump aiming his guns at them. So this is a shot across the bow, man. That's what this is. Now, by the way, this is at the same time we're learning that there was a poll in Florida which found DeSantis had 48% support to Trump's 40% support in a Republican primary. So now we have the first official poll in a state where DeSantis has edged out Trump. And it's not even really just edged out. It's a clear victory. 48-40 is a clear victory. So this is Republicans in Florida in the base saying, you know what? I might like Trump. I might even love Trump. But homeboy's got 40 different investigations into him. I don't think we can win the election with him. So I'm going with DeSantis, who's just a better version of Donald Trump. This is what these voters are thinking. This is what they're thinking. You think Trump hasn't seen that poll? Oh, Trump's seen that poll. And he's trying to counter that narrative. In fact, in one of the rallies he just gave, he threw up a Truth Social poll, which had him at 70% and DeSantis at 10%. My dude, that's not an accurate poll. That's not an accurate poll. That's not the way this works. You can't do an unscientific poll and then tout the results, but this is what he's always done. He's done this throughout. While he was president, he would do this. He would take whatever poll is most favorable to him and throw it up and be like, see, end of discussion, end of debate. No, not at all, not even close. I got one more for you here. This is in Business Insider. Trump, who once endorsed DeSantis as his great friend, slams the ungrateful Florida governor, saying, quote, I made him, report says. There's also reporting that Trump claims, hey, I came up with this idea first to send immigrants into blue cities. In fact, there's reporting that Trump not only wanted to do that, he literally said, send like the robbers and the rapists and the murderers into blue cities to teach them a lesson about these immigrants. So Trump floated that idea behind the scenes, according to Trump. We don't know, that could be a lie, right? And then you had Governor Abbott in Texas actually do it. He bussed immigrants to Chicago, among other places. And DeSantis raised the stakes on that by sending a jet, by the way, spending about $14 million of Florida taxpayer money, sent a jet to Texas to pick up migrants, lie to them, and then ship them to Martha's Vineyard and get all these headlines. And Trump is watching this and he's jealous. He is furious. His thunder is being stolen. And so he was complaining about it behind the scenes. As you could see, he's ungrateful. I made him. By the way, Trump takes credit for DeSantis' victory. Full stop. He says it's because I endorsed him that he won. So now he feels like, dude, you're stepping out of line and I don't like it. Now here's the thing that I find fascinating about this story. Trump needs to be careful, dog. He is on thin ice. What DeSantis is doing that is so masterful is he's not being a pro-Trump sycophant and he's not being anti-Trump. He's just doing his own thing, staying in his own lane, generating his own headlines, which gets him support from the right-wing base. And that is the best thing he could possibly do. It's playing his cards exactly right if he wants to have a chance in a 2024 race. And Trump, here's why Trump is now misstepping and he's fucking up. Back in 2016, I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but if you look at the primary back then, Trump never threw the first punch. He was always a counterpuncher. Always. So if Ted Cruz or Jeb Bush or Marco Rubio or John Kasich or whoever would go after Trump and say something mean about him, then he would come back at them like 10 times harder. But he never was the one who threw the first punch. He genuinely would like try to get along with everybody, and then only if they shot at him would he fire back. I'm of the belief that is politically, that is way more palatable than throwing the first punch. Because then you have the argument of like, look, I'm just being defensive here. I'm trying to get along with everybody. I'm trying to do my own thing. I'm trying to rep my own issues, and they keep coming after me viciously and wrongly, and so of course I'm going to respond. That's more palatable to people. And what Trump is doing here is he's kind of throwing the first punch at DeSantis. He's kind of like, hey, fuck this guy. I'm jealous. He's getting under my skin because people like him on the right. And so I'm going to go after him. I'm going to go after him. And now you're seeing the very beginning of that. It's all starting to bubble up here. And what'll be interesting is to see if DeSantis can maintain what I think has been a masterful move where he walks the line perfectly. He's not a pro-Trump sycophant, and he's not anti-Trump. He's just like doing his own thing and saying nothing about Trump and, basically building his own support. And I think Trump gets the sense this dude is popular and he's continuing to rise in popularity, and so he's threatened by it. And that's why Trump is now kind of panicking and starting to throw some haymakers. So we'll see what happens. Look, I will gladly admit to you guys that it's still gonna be a difficult line for DeSantis to walk moving forward. But to this point, he's done every move perfectly. And so if he continues with a similar political skill set and strategy, he could be the one in 2024. He could be the one. It's way too early to say that definitively, but between Trump being more and more unhinged here, and the fact that he's under like 85 investigations and a lot of them are like moving forward in a way that is damaging to him, I think my original prediction in the wake of the FBI investigation coming to light is correct. That, yeah, Trump's still a favorite to win the 2024 primary, but it ain't no lock, dog. It's not a lock. Everybody who thinks it's a lock is lying to themselves. It is not a political benefit to be under FBI investigation and have like 6 other investigations into you and your businesses. It's not a benefit. The kind of like fucking mental gymnastics one needs to perform to get to the point where you think, oh, actually this helps Trump. It's nonsense. So we'll see. It's getting really, really interesting, and it's about to get a lot more angry and a lot more aggressive. You just wait and see. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.